Okay, this is part 2 of the external review of the Celcius Training Weapon, M4A1. So let's go ahead and take a look at the receiver now. You'll note that the receiver is made out of high-quality aluminum, and one thing that I did earlier, and I don't seem to have one of my knives with me at the moment, but I did a scratch test on this thing to test the quality of the metal, and I'll flip this over so you can sort of see the results here. It did it right here. This was my attempt with a Benchmade Nemrevis knife to cut into it, and about all I managed to really do was to remove the paint there. So this is high quality aluminum. There's no crappy aluminum involved in the making of this gun. So definitely really nice. One thing that you'll note that's different from an AEG is that the charging handle is actually a real steel charging handle style, and this is about as far back as you can pull it, and it won't open up the flap here. You can do that by hand. You can see it doesn't have the usual like AEG hop up and so forth, and this is the cylinder. One thing that you will notice, though, is that this functions as a bolt carrier, so when you take the gun down, you can use it to easily remove the bolt there. So you can take a look. It seems to be missing some of the markings that are usually right up here on the receiver, but I think the finish is actually very nice. This is really a very solid receiver. Feels great. Really high quality. I definitely prefer it to pretty much any of the other receivers that I've seen. It's, in my opinion, better finish and feel than a classic Army receiver, which should tell you something. About on par with GNP, maybe a little bit better. The faux clearing rod doesn't really move in all that much. It's slightly, it's got a slight spring to it, but yeah, there's that. Here's the trigger guard, which is also metal trigger. One thing that I also noticed is that you actually have to depress this button in order to insert the mag. So if I don't push down the button, you can see it doesn't actually go in all the way. You actually have to push down on the button to get it to slide in all the way. So that's something to note. And magazine well is nice and clean. You can see that there's a little bit of wear since I've been putting this magazine in and out and so forth. But everything seems to be manufactured to really tight tolerances. Next thing that we'll note is that you've got a nice removable carry handle. On the other side, it has an A2 marking on it right here. You can kind of see that. It's fully adjustable for windage and elevation, and I like the multicolored finish on this. This part is a little bit grayer, and then the top part is a little bit closer to the finish of the rest of the gun. But definitely nicely adjustable. Another thing that you'll note is that the gun will fire when the magazine output. If it's empty, this little latch right here, when it's in like this, it will allow the gun to fire. And if the magazine is inserted but is empty, then the only way you can really dry fire the gun if it's empty is by pushing in on this part right here. You'll also notice that it's got a nice selector switch, clicks cleanly from position to position. Unique serial number on all of these. Unfortunately, mine isn't one. And it's got Celcius trademarks, which is a dragon. It says Celcius Training Weapon, M4A1 Advanced System. I happen to think that these are really awesome-looking trademarks, so good quality as far as that goes. And I'm definitely very pleased with it so far. So the next little segment here, I will talk about